Chapter 186 The absolutely surprising radiant butterfly goddess. That was why the two of them continued to find Hua Yuao. Hua Yuao couldn't take it anymore, and thus he decided to hide from them. After all, they couldn't possibly spar inside illustrious Virtue Hall. As a result, Hua Yuao often remained in illustrious Virtue Hall until late at night before returning to his dorm room, avoiding trouble. However, there were still some of the few friends that Hua Yuao had at the academy. Of course, Hua Yuao wouldn't admit to this. Jingxian and Jijuigan were also very picky. Hikaiju did tell them that he wanted to team up with Hua Yuao to fight them, but they wouldn't accept it. They were only interested in sparring with Hua Yuao, who was skilled in close combat and possessed the sovereign's descent. Hikaiju shook his head at Hua Yuao and said, "Of course it isn't the two of them. How are they surprises? They're more of a shock. Guys, we've things to deal with today. He can't entertain you." As he spoke, he quickly dragged Hua Yuao away. Hua Yuao couldn't wait to get away from them. He followed Hikaiju willingly this time. However, Jingxian shifted and grinned as she blocked them. Jijuigan was even more ruthless. He brandished his extraterrestrial meteoric sword. Jingxian smiled as she said, "It's fate that we meet. Yuao, we haven't looked for you in days. Since we've met, let's spar. I've recently gained some enlightenment." Hua Yuao's facial muscles twitched a little, and he said, "I seem to have fought the both of you 2 days ago. You call that days? Can't you give me some breathing space? I can see defeat." Jijuigan pointed his sword at Hua Yuao and said, "Defeat me, then I'll give you breathing space. You." Hua Yuao glared. "Jijuigan, do you really think I'm scared of you? Don't make me beat you until you're half dead." Jingxian chortled, "It's okay. I'll take care of him. Don't give me face. You can whack him first. If you've sufficient energy after that, you can also whack me." Hikaiju rolled his eyes and wanted to pull Hua Yuao away. He said, "Little junior, you're really stupid. Really stupid. If we can't deal with them, why don't we just run away? Let's go." As he spoke, he grabbed Hua Yuao's waist and lifted him up. He made a half turn, and his thick arms flung Hua Yuao into the air. They had great chemistry. Hua Yuao flipped in midair and initiated his soul thrusters. A blinding light shone from his back before the two of them burst towards the academy's gate. At this point, he ignored the academy's rule that no soul tools could be used in non-experimentation areas. Jijuigan and Jingxian didn't expect Hikaiju to do this, and thus they were slow to react. However, they weren't ones to give up. They quickly chased after them. Both of them were soul emperors, and they teamed up well with each other too. Jijuigan didn't have a soul thruster. However, that was fine, since Jingxian had one. Jingxian quickly climbed onto his back, and her class 6 soul thruster was immediately activated. The sudden thrusting force propelled both of them towards Hua Yuao. Jijuigan had made significant improvements over the past half year too. He was still able to hold onto his sword with both hands, even under such a circumstance. He unleashed his swift and vicious sword intent. Evidently, they didn't really care about the school rules, either. Hua Yuao fled. While he used class 5 soul thrusters, there were several of them. The 4 class 5 soul thrusters on his back could change direction based on the control of his intent and muscles. Not only were they very explosive, but they were also very adaptable. He was almost out of the gate. At such a high speed, even the guards at the academy's gate couldn't stop him, and could only watch as he escaped out the gate. However, the academy's alarm rang soon after that. Hua Yuao was a little lost after he exited the gate. That was because he didn't know where to go. So what if he fled? At this speed, it was arduous for him to continue escaping. Furthermore, it was easier to spar than flee. Hikaiju had evidently come up with a bad idea. After they burst out of the gate, Jingxian and Jijuigan also followed suit. Just as Hua Yuao decreased his speed and was ready to turn back, a crisp voice that carried a sense of furious and vicious killing intent rose up. "Who dares to hurt him?" A ball of intense golden light mixed with a dazzling blue blew apart like fireworks. It instantly changed into countless streaks of light that penetrated through the air, forcefully blocking Jingxian and Jijuigan. Jijuigan's sword intent was initially targeted towards Hua Yuao. However, he displayed his strength as he came under attack. His vicious sword intent sword, and a streak of black sword light was unleashed. The further this sword light flew, the bigger it grew. There was even a subtle draconic roar coming from it. As the streaks of golden light met the immense sword intent, they were swept away. However, a strange scene appeared. The golden lights that were brushed aside didn't disperse, but stuck onto the extraterrestrial meteoric sword. After Jijuigan's sword managed to sweep all the blades away, a bluish gold ball of light a foot wide was already attached to the back of it. Following that, a tremendous boom rang out as an aura of light was released. Jijuigan and Jingxian were sent flying as the wave of gold struck them. The intense aura of light spread, and the shockwave threw them off balance as they were struck. Naturally, they stopped their pursuit of Hua Yuao. Where was Hua Yuao? Where was Hua Yuao now? He seemed to have been struck by a soul skill that turned him to stone. He stood there completely motionless, and his spirit eyes were fixed in a certain direction. The direction the golden lights came from. A dazzling bluish gold light shone in the air, looking even more dazzling in the sunlight. A figure with medium long, pinkish blue hair that flowed past his shoulders and a charming appearance was standing there. Although only his side profile could be seen, Hua Yuao could sense his aloofness. A pair of blue wings flapped open behind his face. A halo that flashed with a complementary golden light pattern subtly appeared above the wings. It was like a small sun that bore down on the wings. 1 yellow, 2 purple, and 2 black soul rings shone. Jijuigan had another nickname in the Sun Moon Imperial Soul Engineering Academy. His first nickname was Handsome Man. However, he was too cold as a person, and hardly smiled at anyone or anything. The female students in the academy always nagged him for wasting his looks. However, this person that had surfaced was definitely not inferior to Jijuigan in terms of his appearance. He was equally as handsome, but possessed a different aura. This slender youth was not as cold than Jijuigan, as he carried a slight sense of gentility. His skin was also slightly whiter and smoother, the look in his eyes more vibrant. It didn't possess the sharpness that Jijuigan had, but there was a sense of elegance there instead. Compared to Jijuigan, his looks were better able to attract the attention of girls. Jingxian wasn't one to care about handsome guys, but she was astonished by how handsome he was. Jijuigan squinted his eyes because of the light and aura the other party exuded. His sword intent also became more intense. He possessed a pair of wings with golden stripes, and had such a charming face. He even helped Hua Yuao block off Jingxian and Jijuigan's pursuit. Yes, he was the surprise that Hikaiju had mentioned. Wang Dong. Hua Yuao finally recovered from his daze. He was confused, and his eyes even turned blurry from the tears that had suddenly surfaced. He increased his speed without using his soul thrusters and burst forward. He leapt forward and hugged this brother of his that had traveled so far to visit him. Wang Dong was also emotional as he was hugged by Hua Yuao from the side. However, he kept his cool. Hua Yuao, let's deal with the enemy first. Enemy? Hua Yuao was momentarily dazed. He twisted his head to look at the wary Jijuigan and Jingxian. A teasing look also appeared on his face. Since he was always annoyed by the two of them, he was going to teach them a good lesson today. Jijuigan, Jingxian, haven't the two of you always been very depressed that you can't team up to fight me? Today, your opportunity is here. This is my brother. His name is Wang Dong. Let's fight 2 on 2 here. We won't use any soul tools. Are you up for it? Jingxian laughed and replied, of course. He's also from Shrek, right? Very well. Let's fight for the glory of our academies. Jijuigan was as simple and direct as ever. Perhaps it was because he had met someone that could rival him in terms of looks, but he stared at Wang Dong with a burning look in his eyes. As he lifted his extraterrestrial meteoric sword, his sword intent sword, and he shouted in a deep voice, come on. Jijuigan was extraordinary even among the most extraordinary soul masters. The rarity of his cultivation method, giving up soul skills and honing his fighting skills, was comparable to twin martial souls. However, that was also because he used all his soul skills to enhance his soul power like a soul engineer, which was used to complement his fighting skills. He was practically the strongest person in terms of close combat that Hua Yuao had ever met. Hua Yuao tapped into his understanding of the sovereign's descent to beat him in terms of intent. However, he was definitely at a disadvantage in a real fight due to the gap in their soul powers. Hua Yuao tapped into his understanding of the sovereign's descent to beat him in terms of intent. However, he was definitely at a disadvantage in a real fight with the gap in their soul powers. However, Jijuigan never took advantage of him. He restrained his soul power when they sparred so that they would almost be on the same level. He focused on challenging him in terms of their sword and fist intent. This was the reason why Hua Yuao beat him every time. It wasn't that Wang Dong's true abilities were superior to Jijuigan's. It was just that his appearance caused Jijuigan to feel a weird pressure, especially when Hua Yuao stood beside him. There was something different in their auras, as if they were two different magnets with different polarities. They attracted, fused, and became a complete entity. Both Hua Yuao and Wang Dong landed on solid ground at this moment. Hua Yuao grabbed onto Wang Dong's right hand with his left. The two of them looked at each other, and an indescribable rapport rose in their hearts. Their soul power circulated, and their Haodong power was connected again at long last after 2 years of wait. As the vigorous Haodong power circulated through their bodies, they could sense the surprise they brought to each other. Jingxian grinned. Why are you two lovebirds holding hands? It's so embarrassing. Don't waste resources. Wang Dong was stunned for a moment. What about wasting resources? Jingxian smiled and said, there aren't many good guys left. If the two of you get together and stay together, what will us girls do? Wang Dong blushed from her words. However, Hua Yuao's figure flashed, and he blocked Jingxian's subtle approach. Jingxian was inching step by step towards them as she spoke. Hua Yuao understood her very well. She wasn't a nice person to make an enemy out of. She wasn't one to care about rules. Indeed, a thick layer of purplish fog rose from Jingxian's body after Hua Yuao stood in front of Wang Dong. She was engulfed by the fog. Hua Yuao was very familiar with her fighting style. Diamond ice crystals quickly covered his body. As expected, a black figure crawled its way out of the purplish fog. However, Hua Yuao wasn't its target. This figure moved in an arc and aimed straight for Wang Dong's ribs. It was a quick move, but Jingxian's attempt to cause confusion was meaningless to Hua Yuao because he had spiritual detection. However, she still continued to practice it religiously every time they sparred. He was a little annoyed by that. Thick purplish fog instantly swallowed Hua Yuao and Wang Dong. Jingxian's fighting style was similar to Hua Yuao's. They focused a lot on control and assault. She might not have twin martial souls, but she was a soul engineer, a close combat soul engineer. She used her martial soul to control, and her soul tools to attack. Although she had only become a Class 6 soul engineer at the age of 30, she was the best among all the Class 6 soul engineers Hua Yuan knew in terms of fighting capabilities. Of course, this was excluding Ji Juogen as a soul engineer. Hua Yuan reached his left hand towards the black figure, and his entire body shone with light. An azure light shimmered, suddenly shooting out from his body, causing the surrounding temperature to drop. Jingxian's first soul skill was called illusory fog, while her second soul skill was called condensed fog. The main effect of the illusory fog was to confuse and block the opponent's vision. It could also cause the opponent to become disoriented. The condensed fog was very thick and affected speed and judgment. They were both pretty effective mass control type soul skills, and she unleashed them at this moment. Hua Yuan couldn't let her gain an edge over Wang Dong, allowing his spiritual seed to reach an unprecedentedly excited state. His competitive will was greater than usual for these practice matches. He attacked boldly from the get-go. The domain of perpetual ice activated. Everything in a 30 square meter area was turned azure green. Jingxian's fog completely condensed. Even the soul power within the tiniest particle of fog solidified in an instant. The fog disappeared as it fell. However, just as Hua Yuao was familiar with their abilities, they were also familiar with his. Before the azure light shone, a layer of golden light was preemptively released from Jingxian's body. It was a Class 6 protective soul barrier, even though there was a layer of frost on the protective soul barrier that depleted Jingxian's soul power at an alarming rate. It didn't freeze. She created several black figures which attacked towards Hua Yuao at the same time, then retreated with haste. Hua Yuao accurately caught the black figure bursting towards Wang Dong. That was Jingxian's close combat soul tool, the explosive nine-tailed whip. This soul tool had a special ability. It would vibrate at a high frequency when it collided with something. Anything that was struck by it would face a powerful explosion. If struck against a person, their body would be blown to pieces, provided without any defensive tools. However, this explosive nine-tailed whip was very effective at overcoming Soul Master's defensive soul skills and Soul Engineer's protective soul barriers. Hua Yuao had once resisted it using his Ice Empress armor and suffered quite a bit. The explosion that he had faced was powerful, and when it happened his skin and muscles were wounded. Jingxian was a little shocked when she saw Hua Yuao reaching for the explosive nine-tailed whip. Usually, Hua Yuao used his ghost shadow perplexing track to avoid it. He used his left hand, covered with diamond ice crystals, to grab the whip, and a tremendous explosion rang out. However, Hua Yuao still managed to grab hold of the whip tightly. He didn't relax his grip at all. Only a portion of the diamond ice crystals blew apart, barely revealing the skin underneath. The depletion of Jingxian's soul power was still great because she had unleashed her Class 6 protective soul barrier within the domain of perpetual ice. She couldn't sustain it. Hua Yuao's domain type soul skill would last for some time, especially under the support of the Haodong power. Presently, Wang Dong's palms were pressed against Hua Yuao's back. His arms had turned completely golden. The auxiliary capabilities of the golden light left armbone and broken devil of light right armbone were completely brought forth at this point. Not only did Hua Yuao receive the usual support of Haodong power, but the restoration of his soul power was also faster by a few times compared to the past. However, they were fighting 2-on-2. Just as Jingxian was about to give up on her explosive nine-tailed whip to escape from the domain of perpetual ice, Ji Juogen's extraterrestrial meteoric sword entered the fray. It was a very simple slash. Ji Juogen slid towards Hua Yuao as if he were on an icy surface. His greatest strength was focusing his sword intent no matter the situation. Before his attack even arrived, his vicious sword intent had already soared. Even Wang Dong could sense the sharp aura within that threatened to slice him in two. Spiritual detection connected their minds long ago. Hua Yuao and Wang Dong grinned at almost the same time. Following that, a dazzling scene that hadn't appeared for 2 years was presented. Wang Dong switched positions to hug Hua Yuao, his entire body clinging to his back. Jingxian was stunned as she saw this scene. Are the two of them really together like that? However, she was soon shocked. When Wang Dong's wings flapped open behind his back, everyone entered a momentary trance. They were fighting outside the academy's gate, which attracted some attention. Fortunately, it was the holidays, so there weren't too many onlookers. The main spectators were the guards at the gate. These guards hated those who disregarded school rules, but they kept silent after seeing Ji Juogen's terrifying sword intent and the light from Wang Dong's butterfly goddess slash. In front, it was Hua Yuao whose spirit eyes shone with a dim golden light. At the back, it was Wang Dong, who unleashed his radiant butterfly goddess and his dazzling pair of wings. After they hugged and unleashed their martial souls, the area within a 100-meter radius lit up. A special light shone from their bodies. Ji Juogen felt something. He was stunned to realize that the target that he'd locked onto earlier disappeared. Hua Yuao and Wang Dong were definitely still standing there, but they gave him the feeling that they had turned illusory. His vicious sword intent also stalled. Even his speed was slowed for half a second. A weird light encased the surroundings. It was a magical light that alternated between blue, purple and gold. An intense aura of light exuded from it, mixed with several strange undulations of soul power. A huge light projection appeared behind Wang Dong. The complete, charming, and resplendent, radiant butterfly goddess. The illusory projection of a huge vertical eye appeared behind Hua Yuao. This vertical eye was completely bright gold, but emitted a dim flash of purple. In the air, these two projections seemed to fuse together. The projection of Hua Yuao's spirit eyes darkened, and eventually turned bluish purple as the gold faded. Wang Dong's radiant butterfly goddess started to combust as she got closer to the spirit eyes. She burned with a bluish gold flame. Eventually, the fusion completed. It seemed extremely long, yet it was fast. The projections of their martial souls finally fused above Hua Yuao and Wang Dong. Now Wang Dong and Hua Yuao's fused Haodong power erupted. The combusting radiant butterfly goddess flapped her dazzling wings and had the spirit eyes projection. Her projection disappeared, while the bluish purple spirit eyes shone ridiculously bright. The dazzling, bluish gold light flame shone brightly above the spirit eyes projection. It suddenly fell from the air and protected Hua Yuao and Wang Dong. The huge spirit eyes appeared very deep. On a closer look, it seemed to contain a boundless world. At this moment, a beam of light that was a combination of blue, purple, and gold shot out. It shot straight, and everything that crossed its path became nothingness. That instant of brightness seemed to last an eternity. The tricolored beam of light left a blurred trail behind as it shot forward. Ji Juogen's sword contained a forward-moving, indestructible sword intent. That was why his attack would never change, even if his sword left his hand. Hua Yuao was too familiar with him, along with the unparalleled detection capabilities of his spiritual detection. That bright light extended more than 5 meters in width and 100 meters in length. It extended all the way until it hit the walls of the academy. Ji Juogen's figure was swallowed by the tricolored light. His forward-moving momentum didn't change, but his sword intent was destroyed. The light dispersed. Hua Yuao and Wang Dong reappeared in Jingxian's view again. But, with Jingxian flabbergasted, she forgot to unleash her next attack even though the domain of perpetual ice had disappeared. She couldn't believe what she was seeing. What did I just see? A blue, purple and gold beam of light that was 5 meters wide, 3 meters tall and 100 meters long? My god. What soul skill is this? Even a 7 or 8 ring soul master could only match that power after they unleashed their martial soul true body. She was even more shocked that the tricolored light left a gully that was almost 5 meters wide, shining with a bright golden color. A patch of gold had also formed on the wall of the academy. Furthermore, the wall, built with stainless steel, was melting at alarming speeds. A wide opening was revealed as a result of that. The golden fluid that was formed after the wall melted was also very strange. Ji Juoken stopped less than 5 meters away from Huo Yuao and Wang Dong. He was still holding his sword, as if he wanted to strike. However, his sword looked a little out of shape. A strange glow was subtly revealed on its surface. What soul skill is this? No, it should be a martial fusion soul skill. Jing Zian exclaimed. She had completely forgotten that it was a 2-on-2 fight. She wasn't the only one who was shocked. Ji Juoken was even more shocked than her. He felt that the streak of light was 10 times the size of the sovereign's descent. The terrifying spiritual shock caused his sword intent to collapse. In addition, there was even the intense whir of light from it. He felt as if his sword had gone soft, almost as if the extremely tough extraterrestrial meteoric steel was cotton now. His soul power fell by almost half, and he was stuck in some kind of spiritual confusion. His thoughts were paralyzed. He couldn't move. Huo Yuao pulled Wang Dong's hand, and they smiled as they looked at each other. They said simultaneously, a golden road amidst withering resplendence. Jing Zian muttered repeatedly, golden road, damned golden road. After being immobilized for 3 seconds, Ji Juoken's body shook a little, and he finally regained his ability to move. However, there was still a layer of gold on his body. When he moved, his clothing looked like it was about to melt off. Ji Juoken didn't remain behind. He shook his body and vanished. The layer of gold evaporated, and only his voice was left echoing in the air. Huo Yuao, I'll never be done with you in my entire life. Jing Zian's shock slowly disappeared. She scratched her head in a very manly manner and said, Huo Yuao, you're a treasure that keeps giving. I'm honored to have you as a target to chase. Juoken's right. We'll never be done with you in our entire lives. Huo Yuao rolled his eyes and said, this exchange will be ending a few months after the holidays are over, and I'll return to Shrek. Follow me to Shrek if you can. There are many people over there you can pester if you want. Jing Zian's eyes brightened, and she said, right, that's a great idea. In fact, I'm getting more and more interested in Shrek Academy after knowing you. No, I must seek approval from the Hallmaster to be in the next batch of exchange students right away. As she spoke, she turned and ran off while Huo Yuao watched her in shock. She disappeared very quickly. Huo Yuao almost cursed. Those rascals. Surely they won't actually follow us back to Shrek. Wang Dong glanced at Huo Yuao and smiled. Why? What's going on? You didn't seem like enemies. Huo Yuao laughed bitterly. They're fanatics. They're always pestering me to spar with them. Today's another of my lucky days. Second brother, you've given me a huge surprise. As he spoke, Huo Yuao suddenly turned around and hugged Wang Dong tightly once again. My brother, I'm delighted to see you again. Huo Yuao's direct and emotional words caused Wang Dong to tear up slightly. He hugged him back and muttered, me too. Hikaetu stood there and was a little annoyed as he said, the two of you can continue being intimate, I guess. I'll return first. We'll eat together later. I'll inform teacher Fanu for now. In fact, Wang Dong was barred from entering the Sun Moon Imperial Soul Engineering Academy when he came by this morning. He said that he was from Shrek and asked someone to help look for the exchange students. He had managed to locate Hikaetu, who easily recognized him. Hikaetu was surprised and decided to give Huo Yuao a surprise as well. It was only now that the guards standing at the academy's gates walked over. There were 4 of them. Their leader was brief as he said to Huo Yuao, Student Huo, you've breached the school rules today. Come with us to make a statement. Huo Yuao relaxed his hug with Wang Dong. But before he even said anything, he was interrupted by Wang Dong. Why don't you chase after the other 2? Why are you finding fault with us? Do you think we're easy targets for bullying just because we're from Shrek? We can make a statement if you want. However, you'll need to fight us first. While he was very gentle when he was with Huo Yuao, he was actually still very arrogant, just like when he had first met Huo Yuao. He was extremely displeased, as his reunion with Huo Yuao was being disrupted. The guards were a little annoyed. We won't fight. We're not sandbags. Don't put us in a spot. Student Huo, it's not that we're not giving you face. However, the damages are too obvious. If the academy asks, we can't account for them. As he spoke, he pointed to the results of the Golden Road. Huo Yuao wasn't an unreasonable person. In addition, why would he be calculative against these guards? He was apologetic as he said, I'm sorry, I'll pay for the repairs needed for the walls and road. However, it's not exactly my fault. Ji Juoken and Jing Zian provoked us first. You have seen everything. They were the ones chasing me. Please tell the truth when you report this to the academy. I'll record a statement to help out. The guards were relieved with Huo Yuao's cooperation. They got a better impression of him from that. As guards of the academy, they naturally possessed some strength of their own. They at least had the required level of cultivation. But it was their first time seeing something as dazzling as Huo Yuao and Wang Dong's martial fusion soul skill. They respected the 2 of them more because of that. Within a few minutes, the statement was done. Huo Yuao didn't know that the guards made a lot of stuff up to push the problems onto Ji Juoken and Jing Zian. Huo Yuao and Wang Dong were completely absolved of blame. They weren't really all that loyal to the academy. One of them was impressed by Huo Yuao, while another approved of him because Huo Yuao had demonstrated his respect towards them by willingly recording a statement. They even made an exception and allowed Huo Yuao to bring Wang Dong into the academy. Wang Dong caught too much attention. If it were anyone else standing beside him, they would be completely overshadowed. However, Huo Yuao wasn't overshadowed by Wang Dong. Even though his looks were inferior to Wang Dong's, his aura wasn't. To the Sun Moon Imperial Soul Engineering Academy students, his mature and elegant aura demonstrated his strength. Fortunately, the academy was on a short break, and thus there were very few students left in the academy. Otherwise, Wang Dong would have attracted far more attention. As Huo Yuao walked, he sized up Wang Dong. Wang Dong glanced at him and said, what are you looking at? Huo Yuao complimented, you've gotten more handsome after 2 years. I feel so embarrassed standing beside you. Didn't you see? There were a few female students looking this way just now. Their eyes couldn't leave you. Wang Dong smiled and said, this is called natural beauty. Don't worry, I won't despise you for having boorish looks. Huo Yuao laughed and said, that's for describing women. However, I think it should be fine for you to impersonate one if you put on some makeup. Now that your hair is so long, you do seem more feminine. Thanks so much for watching this video. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Also leave a comment down below with suggestions on what novels to read.